how did this opportunity come to you?
Yeah, it's so crazy. It was, I believe it was before we started season 5 that Glorify reached out to my team to be a part of it, and I just love what they're about. I love how and especially the series that we got to do based on quiet faith. That I resonate with that with my character Thaddeus on the show because he's someone who's often overlooked and is more of the quiet one too, but that doesn't measure to the amount of faith he has. So when Glorify came and wanted to do a little series on it, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. And like anything that can get me closer to my faith, but also that can relate to so many other people. So I was just so cool. I was just so blown away by that when they said they wanted to merge and do this with The Chosen.
Well, it makes perfect sense for them as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you are the patron saint of hopeless causes.
Exactly. Not many people know that too. That was something cool in my research, when I first got booked on the show, that, Thaddeus is only mentioned a handful of time in scripture. But after doing research, knowing he was also known as Saint Jude, which so many people know,
Oh yeah.
that was just like, okay, that has a whole new even meaning to it. So I was really blown away to find that out as well.
Well, have you ever seen The Untouchables? The with Kevin Costner
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a scene where they all go to a restaurant together, and Sean Connery's character, John Malone, the police officer, the Chicago police guy, pulls out his call box key. They go, like, what is it? He goes, it's the call box key.
Hmm.
And he said, what is that hanging from? He says, I'm sitting with the heathens. He said, that is St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes and policemen.
Oh man. Oh
And
man.
also, son, and then the character playing Andy Garcia's character goes, Santa Juda.
Santa Juda.
So I think that might be the first time I found out he was the patron saint of lost causes or hopeless causes, or apparently hopeless causes, and policemen.
And policemen. And policemen. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I feel very honored to be a vessel for his story. So just to know how much he's loved and how much people, pray to him as well. It's definitely humbling.
Does he come in handy?
He has.
Oh,
He,
you've met him earlier in your acting career. How much help he might have been.
oh my gosh, a ton. You know what? I've been lucky enough over the past few years to be able to go to Rome, and that's where he's buried. That's where his remains lie in St. Peter's Basilica, like right where Simon the Zealots are too. It's like merged into one. Um, and it was so special just being there. And what's crazy about it too is season 2, Jonathan gave me this little it was like a green St. Jude kind of medallion, and has a prayer devotion on it as well. So that's been something that I've always prayed with going forward, whether it's, at night or, if I just need to talk to God, I always say his prayer as well, the St. Jude one. But it's definitely helped me in so many ways with my faith. And then just, especially in situations that I can't explain, or I feel like I have no control over. It's
Which is
taught me more about
everything in
surrender. It's absolutely
It's
everything. It's everything.
I
And I've
yes.
learned too, it's we're not supposed to, like, it's okay to not be in control. It's okay that there's such thing as surrender, to trusting what is in your control, and then trusting him to do everything he needs to do and wants to do. And that's something I'm not perfect at by any means, but since surrendering to him and surrendering to God, it's definitely made my life easier in a lot of ways.
Well, as a couple of the Catholic guys in the cast, so what are the kind of conversations? And now you're both working on apps. So what's the kind of conversations that you and John have had?
I think it's just that. I think he's helped me so much, not only in terms of my career, but also just in terms of the way I live my life, because he's such a role model, I feel. And the way he lives and the way he treats people. I've never seen, so I've been on many sets before, and this is just from a professional aspect and a human aspect. When you're number one on the call sheet, you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. And especially on a show like this, to where, this is what people like myself, like we live our lives by our faith. And not once does that let it get to his head. So the way I see, he leads by example. Truly, as an artist, he's so giving and respectful, and he's always there for you. But it could be, an actor that's on for one day, and he still treats them like family. And if anything, I mean, one of the many things I've learned from Jonathan is, you treat everybody, and you really want everyone to be seen and feel like they matter. Because I feel like, and that goes back to what I've learned from this whole thing with this merger with Glorify, and being able to do this series, is a lot of the time people just want to be acknowledged. They just want to be seen and heard, especially if they're not people that like speak up a lot. We're a lot closer together than we think. So he's taught me just to be even kinder to people, to be even more loving and more giving. Even when you don't think you have it, you have that just by being in their presence, and showing them that they matter. That speaks volumes, and you have no idea what that does for somebody.
So what are your exact duties for the app? What do they have you doing?
Well, it was so great. We got to do a recording on quiet faith. So we did a whole recording on that, and from the perspective of Thaddeus, because Thaddeus is also known as, someone who, like I said before, you don't see him as someone who's going to be loud like a Simon, or like a big James, or like vocally opinionated, right? He's someone who trusts and surrenders and believes in who he's following, and he has a strong belief in his God. So, what Glorify had me do is, we had a collaboration on a series of what it means when you tap into your faith, even if it's quiet faith that speaks volumes. It was Jesus too who said, like, go into your door, go into your room, close the door, and get on your knees and pray to your God. And it doesn't all the time have to be this big grandiose thing. We live in a world of social media too, right? To where everything's loud, and everything is like, hey, I want you to see what I'm doing. I want you to, see the good things, see the good works I'm doing, to where, like,
See
some of the
every
most
dang
powerful.
thing that I'm doing.
What's that?
See every dang thing that I'm doing, no matter
See
what it is.
everything. And you know what? It doesn't, and the thing is, it becomes more about, like, watch me, see me, look at me. And unfortunately, I feel like that's just a spiral for people to go into. When you look at it, what I was really grateful to be able to record with Glorify was that the quiet faith that matters. That is really all that matters, is your relationship with God. And I think a lot of people are going to relate to it too. So I'm just excited to be working with them.
Well, like you said, we live in a performative world where you have to be seen to be doing something,
Yeah.
but that may or may not correlate to your inner life at all.
You know what, Kate? Like, before booking The Chosen, I caught on to that. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be like, look at me, look the roles I'm doing. Look at this project I get to be a part of. And it got me nowhere, because it was a constant. As soon as I got that thing, it was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And then
Mhm.
that's just all it is. You're just chasing all these empty things. There's a quote, I forgot what it was. It's like, we want things that we really don't know we don't need to impress people we don't know. I won't do it justice, because I'm not
Don't
gonna.
care.
Yeah, or for people who
In the
don't
end,
really
don't
care,
care.
and it wasn't until I surrendered that audition for The Chosen came, and wasn't looking for it.
The actor's life. I remember sitting on the set once, and I was hearing a couple of day players talk,
Hmm.
and this guy was saying, I was booking stuff left, right, and sideways. It was going great. And I'm thinking, I'm all that. And then it dried up. And he's like, and I don't know why. And I look in the mirror. I'm the same guy. I look the same. I have the same skills. My agent doesn't, all of a sudden I can't book anything. It was
Yeah.
just heartbreaking. And I realized, like, the actor's life, man, because you're not the generator of things. You come into something that's already been generated. So your control is limited.
We don't, and sometimes the best actor doesn't even get the job. Most of the time, that's not really what it's about. Bryan Cranston, who I look up to as an actor too, everyone knows Malcolm in the Middle, Breaking Bad, and he even said, like, you're not going in there to get a job. You're going in there to do what you love and to give a gift. You're giving a gift to maybe someone who needs that, right? For Thaddeus, if I auditioned for Simon and Andrew, they didn't even have the role of Thaddeus to audition for. But if I was going in for Thaddeus, I would be like, okay, this is for people who are often overlooked and not seen, but at the same time, he wants people to feel seen. That's the gift I want to give to who I'm reading with in the room. But then at the end of the day, the choice of who gets a job, it's so out of your control.
There's a million reasons, most of which have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as we need someone who's a little, we need someone with blonde hair as opposed to dark hair, or we need someone a little taller, or maybe,
or these days we need to tick a box. We need one of that and one of that, and one of that, and you're not that.
True. Exactly.
And 2 years from now, that list will probably change, and suddenly the people who couldn't get hired will get hired, and who the heck knows?
Exactly. Very true.
Yeah. I think that's why actors become producers, just to have it's been going on since the silent era, just to have actually some control.
Yeah, that's why a lot of actors too create their own work as well, just because so they have some type of say, I get that.
So is this really the first voice work you've done for the app?
It is the first one, and I'm excited to do more.
New world voice work.
What's that?
It's kind of a new world voice work. It's somewhat the same as acting in front of a camera, but sometimes it's not the same.
Yeah, it's similar in some ways, because you do have to still connect to the meaning of what you're saying, even though they can't see you. People are going to be either driving in their car, they're going to be meditating while listening, and they do want to see you take them on this journey of what it means. They want these words to matter. It can't just be reading off of a piece of paper what this series is about. No, it's about connecting to your faith in quiet ways, and connecting to God, and getting closer to your faith in a medium that's taking you on this journey that is going to be relatable for a lot of people listening. I learned more about myself, and I learned more about Thaddeus while saying the words on the paper and really taking them in. So I'm really hoping people do the same when they listen to this.
Yeah, and also when you're doing narrating like you're doing, you're telling a story, you're not, because a lot of acting is reacting.
Absolutely.
But you're not reacting. There's no one to react to. Like I do a lot of audiobooks. I will turn them off sometimes because of the reader. Like, you are terrible.
Yeah, very true.
Bear the thought of listening to you for hours.
It's very true. It's very true. And it's very important. I'm hoping people find my expression, if you will, calming for them.
Well, it could open up a whole new avenue of employment in the future.
It's very true. It's whatever the man upstairs has in store for me, that's what I want. So,
Well, I did some research on you before I got here, and I was watching your interview. The power imbalance, and I'm happy to be on the power side. And I listened to your interview on Life on the Rock, because I'm a Catholic revert. I'm a left and came back. And Life on the Rock was one of the shows I used to watch a lot.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day. It was like EWTN and a paperback copy of the Catechism I bought in a used bookstore. Wow. I just kind of did it by myself, which is good, because if you ask people, a lot of people don't know anything. So it's better off. Either listen to people who know something or look it up, because a lot of people have weird ideas. And it kind of sounds like you went through the same Catholic education that I did, which was perfunctory and incomplete. literally all I remember is we actually in 5th grade sang Kumbaya. Literally
Really?
sang.
I can't say,
Literally,
maybe I blocked it out, but I can't say we sang
literally
that.
sang Kumbaya. So I think for a lot of Catholic kids, we got the same sort of like, if you show up at the right places, it's fine. But at some point, I think they were just moving you through the process and they weren't stopping to, they do now, but it's more recent. So you see a lot of people like reconnecting and like, oh, I never knew that was there. I never knew you did that. I never knew you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I walked into a Catholic production company as a new hire and they did a holy hour. And I'm like, a what? And I go in and they're singing songs and saying things. I'm like, what are you people doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when you went through it, was it just kind of like, because it was for me, I'm curious if it was for you, like, did it just feel like, okay, I'm just checking off, these are things, you're supposed
Yeah,
to be
not even
doing.
just like school. I went to catechism class, but I think it's just
Same.
that there were so many large institutions. They just
Hmm.
figured at some point it would soak in.
Yeah.
But I think, and if the parents didn't really seriously follow up at home, they probably went through the same education, which was perfunctory and incomplete.
Hmm.
So I think it's been realized that the education was incomplete and that you realize like, I just don't know anything.
I know.
And then
I
just
know.
like, why do you do that? And why do you do that? And suddenly this whole world opens up like, that's why you do that. I went to a teaching mass once and they're like, this is this part and this is why we do this now and that then. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
It like starts clicking, like, oh, that makes sense. That's why we
You
do
look
it.
it up in the
Okay.
catechism, like just literally go look it up in the go, like, oh, that's the reasoning behind
Yes.
why we do X and we don't do Y.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And then you realize you could spend the rest of your life learning this stuff and you'd never learn it all.
Mm-hmm. But that's what's
And
exciting about it. There's always something
yeah,
to learn.
so
There's
like,
always somewhere to grow.
you went to the SEEK conference, with all of these kids. So there's a lot of kids now.
Oh
There's
my
a big
gosh.
upswell of enthusiasm. So what was that like being there with all of these kids who are getting so much more good stuff than whatever.
No, it's so true, Kate. I mean, and you know what? I was blown away by it because I didn't know what to expect. I honestly, before going, was not sure. I didn't realize the majority of the people attending were college students from across the country. I had no clue because, to my recollection, that wasn't what I was
No,
experiencing as a
college is
kid.
when you bombed out, not when you bombed back in.
Yes, I was like middle tier. I was like I was hanging right in the middle there. But it's
Yeah.
but like it really touched my heart because it's like I wish I wish I felt that strongly about my relationship with Christ when I was younger, But everything happens for a reason, so I'm glad it happened the way it did. But just to see these kids like so early on, because I think there's so many values that we learn that I know that I've learned since being closer to my faith that had I known that when I was in college, I would have done things differently, And I'm blessed for the way my life turned out and is still going. I'm still learning. But just to see those kids, 19, 20, 21-year-old, loving and talking passionately about
And they know
God
stuff.
and their faith. And they know it. And they know scripture. They know the stories. They know their values. And I think it prepares them to live a faith-filled life, especially when you start thinking about like I just gotten engaged to my fiance a couple of months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And the big thing we do share is our faith. And when I was in college, when I was thinking of, when I married down the road, I was like, as long as I have my faith, that's the most important thing. And I can't say that that's true for myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but like that's what solidifies our values and that's how we communicate. And like
That's
I
how you
can't
raise
think.
a family. That's how you support each other. And then later on, how you can pass it on to other people.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
Wait till you do pre-K now. I've heard stories of pre-K.
Oh yeah.
Marriage prep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's not just like religion. It's like, are you a morning person or an evening person? How do you feel about budgeting?
Mm.
How do you feel like who's gonna, how are you gonna split up the chores? They're like, what are benefits? Somebody said we have a deacon who works here, and he said if 50% of the marriages are called off or delayed during marriage prep and doing something right, because a lot of these kids have not thought through the details.
Yeah. It's a lot to
Take a
think about.
breath, think through the details. How are you going to make this work? And I'm like, that's extreme, but probably in today's world, kind of necessary.
I think so too. There's a lot to navigate. But I do think
so far.
Agreed.
So I hope you do the proper marriage prep, because I think it would be enlightening.
Thank you. We're great at communicating, and we have tons of conversations with each other, and I think we do a very good job at keeping Christ at the center, and also like seeing each other's point of views and talking about a range of different topics. So I'm really blessed for that.
Someone was saying that more marriages have broken up over time over toilet seats and squeezing toothpaste tubes, and how the money is spent than over infidelity.
Well, I think anybody and look, I'm not an expert on it at all, right? Like by any means, but I do believe anybody who goes into either a relationship or marriage and thinks that there's never going to be any obstacles are just setting themselves up for failure. And that's from the small things to the big things. It's like, I don't think you choose a partner for things to be smooth sailing and perfect. You choose a partner because when things get rough, I want to work with you. When things get rough, like, we're in this thing together. We use we a lot in our relationship. We don't use you, I.
Do a kitchen or bathroom remodel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure there'll be some
survive that and you'll be fine.
There's a lot of YouTube how-to videos, so we'll make it work.
So now that, you're doing this app and you're doing The Chosen, and weirdly, people are now looking to you. So how does that feel?
I just hope I'm doing a good enough job to represent, both The Chosen, glorify Thaddeus. That is always my hope. Because it's not about me. It's about something way bigger than myself, which is something I think actors always want to be part of, but sometimes rarely get the opportunity. So, I just try to live my life as genuine as I can, as respectful as I can. And kind of like when I went off earlier, I see the way Jonathan treats people. And I always want to be able to treat people with the most generous level of respect and love, and try to see people like Thaddeus does. So I really hope I do a good job, because I really try hard to do that. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy. In anything I do, I want people to feel seen.
It sounds like you've picked the right role model.
Absolutely. I think so too.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh my God, Kate, this was so fun as well. I'm glad we got a chance to meet and talk, and great conversation too. Just thank you.